We have the little ancient gear deck. That could. We have Lightsworn making a surprising day 2 finish. And it would appear we have Gimmick puppets along with some other interesting scary decks in the meta. Make sure you guys smash the crap out of that subscribe button so you guys don't miss out on more content. So we're going to be looking at the ancient gear deck that topped out of this past weekend. And you know what? I gotta say it. This was by far probably one of the most exciting and hyped things I've seen this community be excited for. There's just something about the people that were cheering for this duelist to succeed out here. Something that I hadn't really seen from this community, actually. And I gotta clap for that. Having that level of hype is really good. Ancient Gear Fortress here, I think people forgot that we have a 10-pie field spell built in to Ancient Gears. And the fact that I think people just kind of forgot that this card existed is kind of crazy to me. You also have to remember that this deck fundamentally has to be able to go second. You have to be able to go through all of the combos that you need to do so you can do your thing. And also, you know, Chaos Ancient Giant here is a little bit hard to summon, but I mean, being unaffected is pretty solid for the spells and traps, and then basically being able just to flood over your opponent's field for the OTK with this is going to be everything that you kind of want to see. And you have a lot of other little interesting trinkets in here, I will say. I like that, also being able to have the Thurion for, you know, the protection, Merrymaker on into the Sargass to get to the Regulus. It's not so much that it's all Ancient Gears, but you've now got diversifying options to test out different successful ratios so that you can make things work. And I am happy about that, actually. I think that's actually really, really cool to see. So congratulations to seeing Ancient Gears be able to topple a lot of the competition. Even the Ancient Gear Dragon found a place in here. Also only opting for the one Gear Golem, perfectly understandable. I just like the fact that this deck was able to kind of cut off a lot of the extra bad cards and become into this optimized monster to showcase a great run for the community. Alright, we have a Lightsworn tier Horus. Yeah, I was wondering where the Horus package wasn't here. First off, shout out to the electromagnetic turtle out here. As much as we make fun of this card some days, we do fundamentally understand that having this as a quick effect during the battle phase to end things is going to be pretty strong for us. We're playing the Shufflers, okay. So basically our tier package, very minimalistic, just to be honest with you. Like, there's nothing wrong with this. I see a lot of Duelist. We're actually on Spell Canceller this weekend as well. I don't know what it was with people actually opting for the Spell Canceller, but we have reached a point where if you can get the Counselor on the field, you know, maybe after you've gone through your whole combo out here, and then, you know, you're able to deploy this for, like, maybe your normal summon for turn or something, this card actually is pretty strong, like, genuinely. This was a very good boss monster. See, I also see that this build opted to play things like Protoss with the flag off of the Banshee in here as well, but no Corridor. I find that I wish we could play the Corridor, but I guess we weren't too worried about that. I mean, basically you're using the Lightsworn package to facilitate, you know, some sort of advantage. You also have your Fiendsmith stuff in here anyway. This just proves how stupid the Fiendsmith stuff is for updating your consistency. Also, we did play the Necroquip, which is good. Just basically being able to use it, you know, step on into the next piece so you can do your thing. There's not really anything else too crazy about this. I do find we did play some fun little degeneracy here. Let's call this what this is. You know, the Masterful and the rollback. Hey, if this sticks around for 2 turns, you got the full lock on them. Alright, that's how stupid Beatrice is for enabling, you know, these degenerate combo piles at this point. So that's kind of cute. Next up here, Gimmick puppets. I saw so many Gimmick puppet variations out of this weekend. Let's take a moment to appreciate how much the community has been innovating or trying to innovate with this deck. Also, the fact that, yeah, Gimmick puppets might be a little bit broken in the FTK department. I'm not going to take anything away from them here. I'm not going to say, yeah, they're the most consistent deck in the world. They've got their problems. All right. I mean, you had a lot of people this weekend that couldn't really decide on the ratios for crossout. Obviously, when I say the ratios, you're like, are we going to dedicate more slots to the hand traps? Or are we going to play, the minimalistic versions of these just to be able to hit those key points so that, we aren't going to lose to the stupidest things in the world? And that's where, you were getting the builds that were playing the one Ash, this build's playing the two Drolls, the Veiler, no Nib in the main deck. We also side the third Droll. So it's the little things like that, also playing the one Imperman here, that the cost of not getting hand trapped to make sure that, you don't die, in my personal opinion, was pretty interesting in terms of your deck building. So, yeah, it's pretty nice. Also, a lot of one-of tech choices back here for these pieces. Also, I think 2 baby ended up being the ratio to go with. 3 baby, too many. I feel like 1 baby's not enough, though, because there's just a lot of times that, like, the baby needs to be able to get the revive, but you also want the baby to be able to make sure that, you don't die. Like, those are the biggest things that, this card was kind of bringing to the table. So, outside of that, nice to see the amount of innovation across the board with the gimmick puppet stuff. Definitely entertained me. What in the world is this cluster pile? I saw... okay, first of all, if you had Snake Eyes cards, you could pretty much throw paint at a wall and it would look good. All right. I find this list to be very, very interesting because they actually played triple Delta in here. Delta had like no showing this weekend whatsoever. We're at a point right now that like spell cards, like, okay, so if you were to use this to negate like a track, for example, your opponent would still be able to do the rest of the combo. So I guess looking at Delta, it feels like if I'm negating something like a track, for Fiend Smith, they're still just going to go down the rest of the combo. So I personally don't feel like this card feels as impactful. Now, on the other hand, this card does feel pretty impactful. Even though Gamma's still locked up at 1, being able to have, the multiple usage of things here, I think was a pretty good consideration out here. Now, don't even get me started. I mean, once again, if you had Fiendsmith cards this weekend, you were able to go off to the races and do some stupid things. And once again, you see our Spell Canceller tech choice definitely getting the chance to shine down here. I did hear a couple of these did get turned into, crystals by Flamber's Dragon over the weekend, but that's a little scary thing to kind of consider. I also see that this build did side the Dahark and actually sided the Lena. So both of your little stepping stones that you might possibly need are down here. You do see the Azarune for the top hat here, and we also have access to the skill drain as a one-of, if need be, to cross it out. Yeah, it's kind of the point we've reached ourselves in. Also, shout out to Lullaby of Obedience. Definitely one of the stupider cards, I feel like, actually working out for you right now. And our last list out of this block was our Labyrinth list. I can't believe I'm about to say this, but the simultaneous equation cannon has become standardized at this point. Let's give it up, everybody. We have reached the point where Labyrinth is playing 32 trap cards, and this is now the standard approach to things. Now, this is very interesting. We've also got the smallest mini 4-card package down here of runic cards, which is actually kind of cool. I mean, you've got the Destructions, the Flashing Fires, the Freezing Curses, and you've also got the Tip in here. So this actually is, being able to board this in, obviously you can bring utility of options along the way for you down here, but these cards also give you access to maybe some of the more random things in your extra deck that you could use to kind of help your opponent out. Or, we're just using this as an armament of things to be able to flush out your opponent's field and get the job done. Either way, the fact that the simultaneous equation cannons have become such a recognizable thing by the community. If you can do math, you're just going to shake your head when you have this card sacked on you. So very, very interesting for some of your top choices out of the WCQ this week. Yeah, some of these duelists, I mean, might not have made the top cut, but it's still recognizable to see the accomplishments that they could bring to the table and the success that, you know, other people can have out here. So please, leave a comment down below. Tell me what you guys think, and I'll see your beautiful faces back here later in the day, guys. Patrons, thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.